What's going on, guys? It's Michael here. Welcome to my channel. It's such a beautiful day out there, and in this video I just wanted to talk about why you need to move out of your hometown, and I'm going to share my experience and I'm going to share my thoughts on this. I've actually moved to Australia at the age of 16 without parents, without guardians or whatsoever, and I've actually done this one recently, about like 8 months ago, from Australia to Southeast Asia as well, and there were just so many benefits that I've gained from it. So when I was 16, at that time, I did not have a self-awareness or sort of like ability to think. It was sort of like a coincidence. What happened was I always wanted to do business, and school actually forced me to study science. And I was like, if I want to do business, maybe sales or communication, that is beneficial, but why do I have to study physics or biology or chemistry? It doesn't actually help my life. So I ended up stopped going to that Korean school, which I had to go from like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. anyway. And I convinced my parents to send me to Australia. So I wrote this like 5 pages long of the persuasion script, sharing how I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z at the age of 20. I'll go to uni and blah blah blah. And I ended up persuading them to send me to Australia. There was nobody that I knew in Australia, Brisbane. It's a new environment, new people, and it was great. Because when I was in Korea, I was just such an angry kid who did not like about everything, pretty much. I was pissed at just like teachers who are just doing their job. And I was the kid who, right before the bell ring, like 5 minutes before, I literally stood up, went to the back of the classroom, and I was doing warm up to get ready for the lunch football session. So I was that pissed, sort of like a, how should I call it? Like a rebel. But when I moved to Australia, everything was great. The school finished at 3 p.m. People were nice. I could even dye my hair. In Korea, I had to cut my hair short. But that has sort of been my experience, and it taught me the value of discipline, resilience, and also hard working, responsibility, so many things. But in this video, what I really want to highlight is the entrepreneurship and the new identity that you get to develop when you move to the new city. And this one is once again confirmed from my experience of moving to Southeast Asia from Australia. If you're stuck in the same place, if you drive the same car, if you go to the same gym, if you go to this, if you meet same people, if you eat same food every single day, you're locked into a specific reality, right? And if that reality is what you want, that's great. But the reality that I was living, both in Korea when I was 16 and another reality that I was living in Australia like a year ago, was not the reality that I wanted to live. And if you are in a reality that you're not satisfied with, and if you experience the same thing every day, I think that is very dangerous, because everything that you see and feel and hear becomes normal, and you start to accept what's presented in front of you, right? So that is why I recommend you to move to the new city, because once you do that, everything changes. The environment, the people, your standard, the way you think and see things, and you literally get to create a new identity that is suitable for your new dream reality. So you could even do this experience, let's say you're into boxing. Just before you move out to a new city, just do this for 1 month. Go to the gym where the vibe is traditional. The gym is trying to see who the top dog is, hard sparring, no fitness or going easy or whatsoever. Go to that gym for a month, and then next month, the same time, keep everything else the same, same house, same food, same job and whatnot, but that 1 hour time period throughout the day from 4 to 5, just change that environment from the traditional gym to the fitness-based gym. And when you're at the fitness-based gym, people are going to be like socializing, focusing on the fitness and easygoing vibe. Train there for a month and see how you perceive the training. Your standard is going to be completely different. I'm not saying that social type of gym is wrong, but let's just say if you're into the fighting and if you want to actually get into the ring, obviously the right environment is the first one, right? So you can test it in your life and you can see how it goes, but that's how you can confirm that changing the reality, changing the environment actually change your standard. And there's actually like tons of books about this as well. One of my favorite books is Charles Duhigg's The Power of Habit. And in this book, there's this lady whose name is Lisa. She was not living a happy life. She was obese. She was drinking every day, smoking every day, job after job, like getting fired, getting a new job, getting fired, getting a new job. And then one day she got divorced. So she decided to move to Cairo and stay there for about a year. And completely, like everything changed for her. She realized that the previous reality that she was living in was not her dream. So she quit smoking with the new environment. That allowed her to start running. That allowed her to start eating properly. And she ended up doing marathon as well. There's tons of examples out there like how an individual changed his or her reality completely by simply moving the environment, right? I mean, the same principle applied to the Pavlov's dog. The bell triggers the drool. It's not like the dog wants to do that, but the cue makes the dog to do that, right? So if you remove the old cues, whether it's the light that you see at your house, or the same car that you drive, or the same people that you see, if you change that old cues to the new cues, you get to condition yourself and form a new habit, which ultimately get you to live a new reality. Since this channel is about entrepreneurship and self-development, now I'm going to go back to my own experience of moving from Australia to Southeast Asia to really elaborate on what happened to me. Australia is a great place, like great nature, great people, laid back. Everyone is really polite and friendly, I would say. But the one thing that I didn't really like is this culture of tall poppy syndrome. I think some of the Aussies who's watching this video would know. In the United States, if you do something, let's say if you give it a go at the business, they'll be like, go you, go get it, let's go. But in Australia, it's not like that. Like when I was just starting the business and when I was here, everyone is like, go you can do this, let's go, cheering and whatnot. But when they see that I'm surpassing the certain standard, those people who cheer for you disappear. And there's like a subtle hidden culture which is about shut the fuck up and get back to your reality. Like I personally felt that vibe. So that was one thing. But another thing was like when I was in Australia, like I was making good money, but I felt like there's gotta be something more than just rocking up to the workplace, making money, doing the same thing every day. Like there's gotta be a better way to explore the world, having new experiences, and really enjoy my life. I felt like I was lost when I was in Australia. So that's why I moved to, the first destination was Thailand, and then Vietnam, and then Korea, and now I'm in KL, Malaysia. But I'm so glad that I've made that decision. Because first thing, the number one thing that I noticed is my limiting belief was gone. I no longer have the scarcity mindset when it comes to money. Now, I see money as resources, and money is everywhere. It's abundant form of resources. It's just a matter of how I get it, right? When I was in Australia, because of that tall poppy syndrome, or because of that limited environment that I was in, everyone was working 9 to 5. There were some like solopreneurs, but they were not doing like big numbers. So hanging out with them, communicating with them. Don't get me wrong, some of the boys from Australia, like I deeply care about them, and they're my boys. But that limited environment in terms of the entrepreneurship really didn't allow me to grow. But by going to the Korea and communicating and socializing with this 8 figures entrepreneur, same things happened to me in the Kuala Lumpur, just talking to new people who's got a higher standard, who are more dialed in when it comes to the business. That allowed me to bring up my standard. And what I realized is that even my day-to-day life, like when I was in Australia, I was just doing 10 hours of work, going to the gym, waking up just for the sake of getting the reps in. So for example, like before I go to my office in Australia, I woke up like 10 minutes before I had to leave. So I would, get shower, don't get breakfast, just woke up like a machine, right? Like an employee in a factory. But when I moved to a new place, I didn't want the external factors to control my life, so I decided to, take control of it. So I wake up on time, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I hit the gym first thing in the morning. And that is my new set standard. My old standard in an old environment was, as long as I get the job done, should be all right. But my new self in a new environment is like, I gotta do this. I need to start my day by winning, by getting up on time and hitting the gym, which is crucial for me to keep my health, because I don't want to be a rich fat guy who's just got the money. Health is really important, right? So first thing in the morning is getting up on time and hitting the gym. Like that is the new set standard in a new environment. And because I'm used to this new environment now, I don't even think about slipping in. Do you see how things can change easily? I think the best way to change our reality is not forcing ourselves to do certain things. Changing the subconscious mind and changing the environment so that it becomes inevitable for us to do the certain thing that is going to lead us to the new dream reality is the best thing that we could do. One last thing that I want to share is, if there's anyone who are thinking of moving to a new city, to really take a risk, because it's a risk. If you already live a comfortable life, let's just say you're in 9 to 5, it is very comfortable. Like you can just, cruise along, have a decent life, one house, decent car, decent friends, decent paycheck, decent superannuation. It's so easy to get caught up on that. But if you have this small thoughts of, what if I move to the new city? I highly recommend, because I'm going to share this. One of my mentors, this is not coming from me, one of my mentors use this test every single time, which is rocking chair test. So imagine you are 80 years old. We're all going to get old one day. And there's going to be a point where our body doesn't work anymore, right? So we're sitting on the rocking chair test, and we are just chilling. One afternoon, you've done it all, you've lived it all, and you're looking at the ocean, and you start to think, when I was 25, 30, 35, I had this thought, and I decided to move to the new city, and I actually did it. Like, what would that make you feel versus when I was 20, 25, 30, I wanted to move to the new city, but I ended up choosing the comfort. What if I actually took action at that time? Would my reality have been different? That's a serious question that we need to ask about ourselves, right? Life is too short. And for me, failure is fine. People talking bad things about me, criticizing me is fine, but I don't want to be a guy who have regret. And if you're one like me, I highly recommend you to change your environment. I'll see you in the next video.